Hello viewers, welcome to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. Here is another highly informative video. In this video, we're going to be talking about Greece's top import and exports. Keep watching, we got it all covered. Greece is the world's 63rd largest exporter, and its economy is the world's 54th most complex, according to the Economic Complexity Index. Greece is a developed European country with an economy based on the service and industrial sectors. Greece joined the European Union's Economic and Monetary Union in 2000. In 2014, the country's exports totaled approximately $33.2 billion. Greece is the world's 48th largest importer, with $60.8 billion in annual imports in 2014. From 2009 to 2014, the value of imports decreased at an annual rate of -2.1%, while the value of exports increased at an annual rate of 8.8%. Greece is ranked 138th in the world in terms of economic freedom and 86th in terms of global competitiveness. In 2014, the country's GDP was $235 billion, with a GDP per capita of $26,900. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. Greece Economy Overview. Greece has the world's 50th largest economy, with a GDP of $218 billion. However, because imports outnumber exports, the country has a -$24.8 billion negative trade balance. Imports total $63.5 billion per year, while exports total $38.7 billion. Greece is ranked number 52 on the Economic Complexity Index. Italy and Germany are the country's two most important trading partners. Greece's top 10 imports. Greece imported $55.5 billion in goods from around the world in 2020, an increase of 16.6% since 2016, but a decrease of -10.7% from 2019 to 2020. Greece uses the euro, which has appreciated by 2% against the US dollar since 2016 and increased by 3.1% from 2019 to 2020, based on the average exchange rate for 2020. When converted from euros, the stronger EU currency in 2020 made Greece's imports paid for in weaker US dollars in 2020 relatively less expensive. Using a continental perspective, 62.7% of Greece's total imports by value came from other European countries. Asian trading partners supplied 24.7% of Greece's total import purchases. Africa with 3.7%, North America with 2.2%, Latin America with 1.3% excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean, and Oceania with 0.1%, led by New Zealand and Australia, received lower percentages. With a population of 10.7 million people, Greece's total of $55.5 billion in 2020 imported goods equates to roughly $5,200 in annual product demand from every person in the southern European country. During 2020, the following product groups had the highest dollar value in Greece's import purchases. The percentage share of each product category in terms of total imports into Greece is also shown. Mineral fuels, including oil, are worth $11 billion, which accounts for 19.8% of total imports. $4.5 billion for machinery, including computers, accounts for 8.1%. $3.8 billion for electrical machinery and equipment accounts for 6.9%. $3.5 billion in pharmaceuticals account for 6.4%. $3.3 billion for organic chemicals account for 5.9%. $2.6 billion for automobiles account for 4.6%. Plastics and plastic products account for $2.1 billion account for 3.9%. Optical, technical, and medical equipment valued at $1.3 billion account for 2.3%. $1.2 billion for meat account for 2.2%. $1.1 billion for iron and steel stands at 2%. Greece's top 10 imports accounted for 62.1% of the total value of its foreign product purchases. Organic chemicals went up by 55.1% from 2019 to 2020, pharmaceuticals came up by 15%, and optical, technical, and medical apparatus were the top three purchase increases from 2019 to 2020, up by 13.3%. The most severe drop was a minus 34.1% year-on-year drop in the mineral fuels, including the oil category. Greece's top 10 exports. The Hellenic Republic, also known as Greece, is a strategic crossroads for Europe, Asia, and Africa. In 2020, the Hellenic Republic shipped $35.1 billion in goods around the world. This figure represents a 26.2% increase over 2016, but a minus 7.4% decrease from 2019 to 2020. Greece uses the euro, which has appreciated by 2% against the US dollar since 2016 and increased by 3.1% from 2019 to 2020, based on the average exchange rate for 2020. In 2020, Greece's exports paid for in weaker US dollars were relatively more expensive for international buyers than in 2019. According to the most recent country-specific data, importers in Italy accounted for 10.6% of the global total, Germany with 7.8%, Cyprus with 6.5%, France with 5.8%, Bulgaria with 5%, Turkey with 4.4%, the United Kingdom with 3.9%, Spain with 3.7%, the United States with 3.7%, Romania with 3.6%, China with 2.8%, and the Netherlands purchased 59.9% of products exported from Greece. In terms of value, 69.5% of Greece's exports were delivered to other European countries, while 17.4% were sold to Asian importers. Greece sent another 6.2% of its exports to Africa. Smaller percentages of 4.7% went to North America. Oceania got 1.1%, led by Australia and the Marshall Islands, and Latin America excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean with 1%. With a population of 10.7 million people, Greece's total $35.1 billion in 2020 exports equates to roughly $3,300 for each resident of the southern European country. The export product groups listed below have the highest dollar value in Greek global shipments in 2020. The percentage share of each export category in terms of total Greek exports is also shown. Mineral fuels, including oil, cost $7.7 billion, which accounts for 21.9% of total exports. $3.3 billion in pharmaceuticals account for 9.4%. $2 billion on machinery, including computers, accounts for 5.6%. $1.8 billion for aluminum account for 5.3%. $1.4 billion for electrical machinery and equipment account for 4%. $1.3 billion for vegetable, fruit, or nut preparations account for 3.8%. Plastics and plastic products, $1.3 billion account for 3.8%. $1.3 billion for fruits and nuts account for 3.7%. $922.2 million in dairy, eggs, and honey account for 2.6%. $831.3 million for fish account for 2.4%. Greece's top 10 exports accounted for 62.4% of its total global shipments. Pharmaceuticals are the fastest growing of the top 10 export categories, with a 52.1% increase since 2019. Fruits and nuts came in second place for increasing export sales, with a 21% increase. Greece's shipments of dairy, eggs, and honey experienced the third fastest increase in value, increasing by 18.9%. Mineral fuels, including oil, were the biggest loser among Greece's top 10 export categories, falling 35.7% year-on-year. In terms of macroeconomics, Greece's total exported goods account for 11.3% of its overall GDP in 2020, valued at $310.7 billion in purchasing power parity US dollars. In 2020, Exports will account for 11.3% of total GDP in PPP terms, up from 11.7% the previous year. This suggests, albeit on a very short time frame, that Greece's total economic performance is becoming less reliant on products sold on international markets. The unemployment rate is another important indicator of a country's economic performance. According to the International Monetary Fund, Greece's unemployment rate in November 2020 was 19.3%, compared to an average of 17.802% in 2019. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.